Hello everyone, good morning. We are from the group one from the Global Ecnomy class from Professor Roy Center. In this video, we like to review one of the interesting moves the world is curbed hidden dangers to the global economy by David Attenborough. Group 1 consists of me, Rini, Rugito, Ali, and Kamila. I'll start with chapter 1, the end of the world. In this first chapter, the author opens with the analogy that the global financial markets conditions are like a paranoid great uncle who sometimes cuts off the flow of the money due to the lack of reliable information. The rise of the financial panics is a direct result of the economic globalization, which created a volatile ocean of capital searching for investment opportunities, making a challenge to the policymakers. However, the integration of the world financial market during the last quarter century led to a golden age of wealth creation and poverty reduction. There has been unprecedented wave of prosperity with 40 million jobs in the United States alone, and the value of all global financial assets has jumped from the 12 trillion US dollars to 140 trillion US dollars. It's a 1,166% increase. Nonetheless, today's spectacular global economy is both unstable and unsettling, accompanied by the era of financial crisis. Policymakers need to adopt new, carefully targeted strategic approaches to avoid a financial and economic reversal that can affect us all. One of the main key takeaways from this chapter is the idea that the world is undergoing a shift in financial activity away from the United States. It's taken the terrifying dangers for the world capital market is actively lurking just around the corner. That's all from the chapter 1. Chapter 2 and 3 will be continued by Rugito. Over to you.
Thank you, Rini. So the next chapter 2 and 3 will be explained by me, Handito Pramkajaneswara. So we'll explain first the chapter 2 titled A Dangerous Ocean of Money. The financial markets are what got globalization started. Capital was flowing from country to country, followed by a massive surge in the global trade of goods and services. Within 2 decades, there will be more than 200 country-to-country free trade agreements, as countries attempted to impress world capital market for not only capital, but also goods and services. The bad news is that while securitization has revolutionized the financing of the economic risk takers and allow for a more broad-based financing of the economy, it has come at a cost. Bankers who engage in lending are no longer tied to the risk of the borrower. The lender no longer has the incentive to avoid dangerous risks at all costs because the risk, when cut up into pieces, is quickly shoved out the lender's door to be packaged with pieces of other risks and to be sold as investment to the unknowing global financial community. The paradox is that the system allocates capital so successfully for the industrial world. Securitization is a risky, frustrating phenomenon we find hard to live with or without. In a perfect world, it would be best to balance the budget and limit current account imbalance, but that requires the world economic system to be in balance, which almost never occurs. So the next will be chapter 3, titled Entrepreneurs in a World of Private Equity and Hedge Fund Troublemakers. In today's new uncertain world, politicians would like to eliminate hedge funds, the perceived troublemakers of the world economy. They were the first to figure out how to use the best advantage or arbitrage the new global financial structure. Some hedge funds suffered huge losses and quietly went out of business. But the big story initially was not the hedge funds. It was the major banks and other large financial institutions that failed to offer a transparent picture of the risk to the market. Historically, hedge funds, private equity firms, venture capitalists, and other vehicles for capital allocation have brought to the table a special quality, a curiosity about entrepreneurial creativity and imbued sense that economic expansion stems from a destruction of the status quo. Entrepreneurs often traffic in revolutionary ideas that, to the rest of us at the time, seems foolhardy. The problem, however, is that in highly entrepreneurial economy, it is difficult, if not impossible, to micromanage wealth distribution without negative counter effect. The entrepreneurial economy of continuous innovation, the purest from meritocracy, by definitions, move risk-takers up and down the income ladder in a climate of ferociously chaotic dynamism where the people at the top are seldom there for long. Okay, so the next chapter will be explained by Ryu. Thank you.
Thank you, Dito. Hello everyone, my name is Ryu. I'll introduce chapter 4 and 5. The title for chapter 4 is Tony Soprano Ride the Chinese Dragon. The expectation started a few decades ago, China will dominate the world, is not just the expectation anymore. This chapter is about the way how China has unpredictable force power which can help or sink the world economy. China has tried to keep their economic growth to sustain jobs and political power with own accounting system which is fully suspicious transactions. If China bubble bursts, China could significantly become a deflationary threat to the world because China has no choice but to dump stockpiles of commodities and finished goods into the world to survive. The title for next chapter is Japanese Housewives Take the Commanding Height. In early 1980s, Japan was in great economy. Even GDP of Japan was exceeded GDP of USA. Japanese currency called yen was stronger than US dollars. With strong currency, Japanese big company tried to expand on global market to maintain global competitive advantage and to make more profit. During that period, interest rate in Japan was low. Because of low interest rate, consumption in domestic decreased. On the other hand, the price of assets, including house price, increased a lot. In 1990s, Japanese central bank started to increase interest rate, so the stock market collapsed. At the same time, bubble started to burst, so house pricing plummeted. Company profitability decreased and many banks did bankrupt. It took long, so people called this period as lost decades. After that, Japanese housewives started to do important role in economy because their husband had to work late not to lose jobs. Since they started to invest on foreign bonds and overseas financial instruments, Japanese housewives have become one of the largest behind the scene in the global foreign exchange market. Alright, the next chapter 6 and 7 will be explained by Ali. Thank you.
Hi, I'll be discussing chapter 6 and 7 of The World is Curved by David M. Smick. These two chapters delve deeper into the economic issues and policies affecting the global economy, and the author provides some interesting insight and solutions. Chapter 6 is titled The Economic Matrix: Why the Market Cannot Be Trusted. In this chapter, Smick explains how the global financial system has become more complex and interconnected, making it difficult to predict or control market fluctuations. He argues that markets cannot be trusted to self-regulate and government must intervene to prevent crises and promote stability. Smick also explores the role of central banks and how their policies can impact the global economy. Chapter 7 is titled Unleashing the Creative Economy: How Innovation is the Key to the Future. This chapter focuses on the importance of innovation and creativity is driving economic growth and prosperity. Smick argues that the traditional model of economic growth based on cheap labor and resources is no longer sustainable, and that countries must invest in education, research, and development to stay competitive. He also discusses the role entrepreneurship and small businesses is fostering innovation and creating jobs. Conclusion: Overall, chapters 6 and 7, The World is Curved, provide a thought-provoking analysis of the global economy and challenges it faces. Smick insight on the need for government intervention and innovation are particularly relevant in today's economic climate.
Hello, my name is Gemilang, and I want to read about Chapter 8 and Chapter 9. Chapter 8, Class Welfare and the Politics of Globalization. Today, the world is curved precisely because the political and financial market fall, because they simply don't understand each other. This is particularly the case in the United States, whereas this makes political shift away from free trade and liberalized capital market it appear to be under consideration. Both financial market until now have paid the price as financial asset, including the price of stock, at relatively high value. This is based on the bullish assumption that the Clinton-Reagan model of free trade, relaxed capital market, and long-term fast growth will remain large intact. The question of ours are first, how will market in coming years reprice the changing nature of the political environment? Second, will an aggressive downward pricing of financial assets happen in the climate of panic? And the last one, will be the threat of financial market of unwise of political change be very real? None of these analyses, however, it is to suggest that managing the political of globalization will be easy. As a global financial system completes the unwinding of the subprime mortgage mess, it appears there will be a few heroes and more than a few villains. Only those politicians with enormous foresight and restraint will be able to resist political demography. Indeed, the banker placed the entire world economy in serious trouble. Now for chapter 9, surviving and prospering in this age of volatility. Today, the financial world is a very dangerous place and our leaders need to open their eyes, especially for starters where they need to an effective game plan for broad international strategy to reduce growing global imbalance as well as dealing with the new giant country like China and the others. Effect of this new superpower country will impact the financial architecture, dollar collapse, and etc. And in the future, there will be another superpower country will come to surface. As predicted, many Asian countries will be leading the economy. This distinct phenomenon can be seen now. In 2007, as the subprime loan default, the architecture of the financial system turned to moderate difficult problem into the worst financial panic in the decades. The resulting financial wreck has seriously undermined political support for globalization and threatened the livelihood of millions of low and middle class families globally. This crisis gives all the stakeholders around the world a good learning. Another case is after the fall of the Berlin Wall produced greater competition in global manufacturing and services. This reduced real wages globally, which lead to lower inflationary expectation and thus declining long-term interest rate. All this creating the new imbalance and volatility, and this strategy is always needed to develop to suit or face the new equilibrium, which will happen from time to time, including mainly the global financial risk. Controlling bank panic has become extraordinarily difficult because speed is a killer. Today, money moves in an instant. Even 20 years ago, a person has to pick up a phone and call the broker or banker to move their money. Today, everything happens and had push of a button on the desktop or the computers. Therefore, if everybody decided at one in panic to push the button that withdraw deposit from the banking sector, the liabilities of the bank in a bank run of any endurance will be too big to face to contain, and policy makers desperately need to engage in collectively forward thinking about the nature of the global financial safety and about risks in general. So, the key important question, how to survive prospering of the business in the age of volatility. With the good leadership, we can continue to build on the amazing prosperity of the past 25 years. Without it, We reach a new era economic habit. A second Great Depression seemed unlikely, but the talk is no longer a complete absurdity. So, the world is dangerously curved. Thank you. Okay, so that is all from the group 2 for the book review regarding David M. Smick. The world is curved. I hope you have a nice learning journey with us. Hope you also learn a new side on something great to learn from this very video. Thank you very much for watching this everyone, and goodbye, see you.